Eric,
Attenzione.
Yes.
hello, first of all.
Hello there.
Escape.
How are you?
I'm doing very well here in Florida. How is everyone there in Italy?
Annotazione.
Thank you very much for your time, first of all.
Stone.
And I have
Menu
told
contesto.
to everyone that
Meeting controls.
you could explain something about the new features in the new release of JAWS. We have here with us Tommaso. Tommaso have the possibility to translate for us what you say. So if you have the possibility to stop after 3-4 minutes maximum, Tommaso could translate for everyone.
Sounds good.
I hope. Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, let me start with the next update of JAWS will come out in mid-June, and I'll talk about 2 of the features that are coming in that update first, okay? So the first feature will be something that allows sound cards and Bluetooth headsets to avoid the clipping of JAWS. So if you've experienced this with a laptop, for instance, where you connect a Bluetooth earbuds or something, and as you start to navigate text, it's silent for the first key press because speech has been suppressed in order to try and save on battery life. And there is going to be a setting starting in June. You can go to the settings center, load the default file, search for sound card or Bluetooth, and you'll find the setting, and you can change that to allow JAWS to constantly send some information to the sound device to keep it active so you won't have that clipping effect anymore. And I'll stop there, and by all means ask me a question if you didn't understand that.
Can I, Eric, just translate this piece so that everyone can get the message?
Mm-hmm.
Allora, vi parlerò di 2 cose che sono presenti nel prossimo update di JAWS che uscirà a metà giugno. 2 features in particolare. La prima è relativa alle schede audio e ai dispositivi Bluetooth. Perché cosa succede? Che molte cuffie Bluetooth e auricolari, in particolare appunto schede sonore molto recenti, cosa fanno? Silenziano dopo un certo periodo di inattività l'audio in modo che da risparmiare batteria. Ci sarà un settaggio nel centro impostazioni che si potrà attivare. Se cercate Bluetooth o schede audio lo troverete di sicuro, che vi permetterà di evitare che si spenga l'audio in modo che così non perdiate il primo secondo e mezzo circa di audio. Questa cosa appunto succede perché il portatile ha spento la scheda sonora per risparmiare batteria. Questo si potrà, diciamo, evitare. Comunque se dopo non capite questa cosa potete chiedermi e vi spiegherò. Go on, Eric.
Okay, the next big change coming, and we hope to have this in the June update, is a new Braille viewer / text viewer. It will offer both. So when you enable the Braille viewer, it will by default show you the Braille dot representation that is currently shown on a Braille display. In addition to that, there'll be a line directly below the Braille dot line showing the associated text with those Braille dots, and there'll be a link between the word in Braille and the word in text to be able to allow someone who is sighted looking at the screen, trying to sight read Braille, to be able to identify which dots go with which word. You will also be able to rather than turn on a Braille viewer, turn on a text viewer, which will simply at the top of the screen provide a single line showing whatever text is currently being represented by JAWS to the user. So if you're on a web page and you're looking at a document on the web page with the virtual cursor, whatever line the virtual cursor is representing will then be presented to you at the top of the screen. Now, this could be helpful for a sighted person. More likely, this is helpful for a low vision person, especially running a product like Fusion, where you're running JAWS and Zoom text at the same time, and the text viewer will always give you the same representation. It'll give you the representation at the top of the screen in the same location. It'll always be the same size and same colors based on what the user set the text viewer up to show. So this should be a very good improvement. And again, those features available for JAWS and Fusion are scheduled to hit in June. We're trying to wrap up 1 or 2 last issues, and provided we solve those, they'll be there in June. Otherwise, it may slip till July. Okay?
Yeah.
Ok. Allora, un'altra feature molto interessante che verrà implementata sarà quella di un visualizzatore braille e testo. Ci saranno 2 modalità. Una è il visualizzatore braille che quando abilitato mostrerà la riga di testo che dice la sintesi vocale in puntini braille, quindi praticamente voi vedrete i puntini braille che compongono la parola che state vedendo voi nel display e sotto la riga di testo proprio in testo in nero, diciamo così. Ci sarà una riga che collegherà la parola in puntini braille alla parola in testo in nero, così si può sempre sapere quali puntini corrispondono a quale parola. La seconda è un cosiddetto text viewer, ovvero visualizzatore di testo, che invece farà vedere sempre ciò che dice la sintesi vocale, l'ultima, diciamo, frase pronunciata dalla sintesi vocale all'inizio della schermata, al di sopra della schermata, e questo sarà molto utile per, sia per i vedenti sia per chi ad esempio è ipovedente, potrebbe usare Fusion e in questo caso può avere una rappresentazione di ciò che dice la sintesi vocale che ha sempre gli stessi parametri, quindi ha sempre la stessa dimensione del carattere, sempre lo stesso colore, eccetera. Queste 2 feature, diciamo, di visualizzazione del testo arriveranno a giugno, ma se non ci riusciamo, se dovessero emergere problemi dell'ultimo, allora a luglio.
Eric, sorry, a question for you. The Braille viewer and text viewer I use often to create a correct message when I write a script. But for a standard user, what is the features inside Braille viewer and text viewer?
I don't quite, I had a little trouble hearing you, and I'm not quite clear if I've got the question. So let me try and repeat what I think you would ask. So the Braille viewer, text viewer, especially for a JAWS scenario, is valuable to you, a sighted individual who would be scripting an application and wants to be certain that the output is what you were looking for. What would be the case where a blind user might take advantage of the text viewer, Braille viewer? Was that the question?
Yes. Yeah,
so
right.
For a blind user, they will not interact with the text viewer or the Braille viewer at all. In fact, focus will not move to those windows. Focus stays in your window so it doesn't interrupt you. However, if you are a blind student, or if you were collaborating with somebody who is sighted and want to share information with them about what you're seeing, maybe it's explaining the Braille output, maybe it's trying to show them exactly what you're reading on a web page and wanting to give them an easier place to see the text. This utility will make that much easier to accomplish. I think that teachers of the visually impaired will benefit from this significantly to be able to follow along with what the student is doing and reading, and knowing that that is actually what they're reading on the Braille display.
Very clear. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, I do remember that this came up quite a few times on FS Open Line, but people wanted to have sighted people more easily follow along. Yeah? Ok, quindi Andrea ha chiesto quale potrebbe essere l'utilità di questo viewer per una persona non vedente. Quindi un conto è lui che può essere magari uno scripter e deve sapere esattamente a video quali messaggi JAWS direbbe, ma per una persona non vedente quale potrebbe essere l'utilità di questo discorso? Ed Eric giustamente ha detto, l'utilità potrebbe essere, ad esempio, se noi stiamo collaborando con una persona e nel web con il cursore virtuale stiamo navigando una pagina, spesso per i vedenti è difficile di capire dove siamo posizionati, e quindi questa possibilità rende molto più facile per una persona che ci vede capire quale testo noi stiamo leggendo, che cosa JAWS ci sta dicendo. Quindi, diciamo, è molto più facile seguire diciamo, i due ambienti, quello della persona che guarda lo schermo e quello di noi che ascoltiamo la sintesi vocale. I have a question, Eric, that I got. I was asked to ask you, and it is there any ability to restore the Braille line mode in addition to the structured mode? Because many times the line mode no longer works.
That's a great question, and it's one that we've been wrestling with for a number of years. And the short answer is no, we can't go back to what we used to have, and it's primarily because the traditional line mode took the video intercept of what was being written to a screen and captured through our accessibility or through our video intercept driver. It took that exact representation and it presented it to you for what we saw on the screen. Now, once Windows 10 came along, this is no longer possible because we can't intercept video in the same way we used to. We have to try to build what we believe the screen looks like based on the UIA, based on document object model, or based on iAccessible2 or any other API that we can get our hands on, and try and communicate what's going on the screen. But that's not always what line mode would have really seen. It's not the actual representation because we don't always get presented the start and end point for a line. So getting back to the traditional line mode isn't really an option at this point. We are continuing to try and modify how we capture and display information. We try to make sure that we can build into that any attributes or information about the text as we're displaying it. But I've given you a long roundabout explanation of why we can't really do it in the same fashion.
So you are basically saying this is the same story as the blank, blank, blank with the JAWS cursor.
Correct.
Yeah. And even the accessibility driver doesn't really solve the thing. The new setting with the disable accessibility driver.
It does not. It does not. We're still, the accessibility driver disabling that, we're simply hooking in a different way at a higher level, but we're still not able to intercept video and build it exactly as it's written to the video display.
Okay.
So this is something that we'll continue to improve upon, I hope, in the future. I think this is also something that those of you who use Braille should continue to express the importance of this information, to be able to know visually how something is presented. It's not enough to hear it spoken. We need to know exactly how it's presented. And you can liken this, I think, to reading text. If you only could read text by listening to it and not seeing how it was formed and run together and presented to the user visually by seeing it in Braille the same way, it's not as good. So this is very, very important, and we have to continue to explain this to the sighted world, Microsoft's, Google's, all of these organizations that are trying to cut corners and not allow us to necessarily display what you're looking for.
Ok, quindi la domanda di qualcuno è stata se è possibile tornare alla modalità linea che una volta le barre Braille potevano offrire. La risposta molto semplice è no. No perché? Perché purtroppo da Windows 10 in poi non è più possibile intercettare il video come una volta si faceva, proprio in modo diretto. Bisogna passare attraverso altre API, come possono essere UIA, il modello oggetti del documento e altre cose di questo tipo. Quindi non è più possibile proprio captare il video in maniera diretta, e quindi questo diciamo è molto diverso dal semplice ascoltare il testo con una sintesi vocale dove uno ascolta semplicemente il testo. Il Braille ha bisogno comunque di una rappresentazione anche spaziale che molte volte non viene più fornita. Qui Freedom sta facendo molta pressione anche con tutte queste organizzazioni come possono essere Google, Microsoft, eccetera, per non necessariamente tagliare i ponti e bloccare tutti gli accessi che abbiamo a queste interfacce, perché appunto questo ci impedisce di dare informazioni, come in questo caso la modalità in linea in Braille, che sono molto utili finché le organizzazioni di questo genere, le grandi software house, non ci permetteranno più di fare questo tipo di intercettazione. Sarà molto difficile tornare a quello che si aveva prima con il Braille. Andrea, per le domande che aveva fatto Lucia, eccetera.
Sì, scusami, Eric mi ha inviato delle risposte in precedenza, adesso magari gliele chiedo. Eric, I have received a question from someone. Is it possible to have a better script for the mail app included in Windows 10?
Yeah, so this is the built-in free application that is installed with Windows 10 that people use, but not to a great degree. So we have worked at trying to make sure that we can navigate that in an effective way. We haven't spent a lot of time trying to script it because scripting those modern apps are not an easy task. And the reality is the app is quite limited. The majority of people move to either Thunderbird or preferably Outlook 365, and the overwhelming masses are using that today. So I don't have anything scheduled now to try and go back and make that mail app work any better. The one that's built in, I think it's like Notepad. Microsoft includes it, but Microsoft doesn't expect that that's really what people are going to use. And I think I don't know that mail app is going to improve much. If it does, hopefully they'll continue to improve the UIA that's provided in that app, which is the only thing we can get access to in order to make it work.
Quindi la domanda era se fosse possibile fare dei migliori script per l'app di posta inclusa in Windows. La risposta è che non si sta spendendo molto tempo in questa cosa, perché comunque non è un'applicazione che Microsoft si aspetta che molte persone usino. Infatti la stragrande maggioranza degli utenti oggigiorno usa Outlook o utilizza magari Thunderbird. Quindi la risposta è che sì, è vero, c'è questa applicazione, è inclusa, ma moltissimi, il 99% degli utenti usa altro. È come Notepad, è vero, è incluso, ma non è che moltissimi lo utilizzino come lettore principale. La cosa che si spera che succeda è che Microsoft migliori il supporto a UIA di questa cosa, ed è l'unica cosa che attualmente si può fare, perché mettersi a scriptare una cosa di questo tipo con la percentuale di utenti che ci sono non avrebbe troppo senso.
So I have a question for you, Andrea. When you did your presentation that I listened into, I noticed that with your JAWS version, when you Alt-Tab, you're still hearing the Alt-Tab echo
Yeah.
coming from the computer. Is that something you turn on intentionally, or is it something that's never been turned off in the Italian version?
No, I think that we need to check why not turn off, because it's not that that it is not something that I turn on intentionally.
Okay, so and we did include that change back in the first release of 19, I think, and it's done in the settings center. If you search for manage or key labels or keyboard, I think if you search for the word manage, you'll find the setting, and you can go in there, and I suggest you disable the tab. And if you stop the echo of tab, you'll no longer hear the Alt tab. It's much better.
Yes, of course. I'm checking in this moment.
Sure.
Ok, qui si parlava del fatto che Eric ha visto, no, che Andrea aveva l'Alt Tab attivato, mentre di default nella versione, diciamo, internazionale dovrebbe essere disabilitato, e quindi si sta cercando di capire se è un problema con la versione italiana oppure se in realtà è un problema che loro appunto l'hanno disattivato. And Eric, just a quick one. Is there the ability to mute key combos? Because someone uses applications that directly speak to the screen reader when pressing some key combos, and JAWS speaks those. Personally, I've done some little scripts to block JAWS from saying like Control Alt S. Is there the chance that even key combos are muted?
So you're wanting to keep certain keys, but not others. Is that
No.
Is that correct?
Key combos, like instead of just muting single keys, I want to mute Control plus Alt plus S, because I have some apps which directly speak using a library as if it were a script.
I don't know if that's possible. That would be a good question. If you can outline that question in an email and send it to me, I'll take that in and talk to the developers. Try and give me as much specific as you can.
Okay. Okay, so we do have some questions by email, which we sent to you. How are we dealing with these? Are you, would you like to go through them one by one? Should we let users?
So I kind of sent the answers back to you guys, to Andrea this morning.
Yeah. Yes.
And maybe you can review the question and then maybe review my answer.
Yeah.
For the folks, that might be the best way to do it.
Yeah. The first question was about the PDF files and the possibility to write the PDF forms. And Eric, the answer was that probably the best place to start is and send me a link that I will forward to the person who do this answer. It's a link to an association I have understand, Eric.
She is a JAWS beta tester for many years.
Sorry. Okay.
And she works closely with Adobe and with Microsoft, giving them feedback on what works and what doesn't. And making an accessible Adobe document is one of those things that she has spent a lot of time trying to show them. And she's written a book to try and help others who want to create them. So it is in English. It might be a place to start. We don't document anything about trying to create these, and Adobe hasn't done that good a job, but we are aware that they're working on trying to get this so that you can author in a browser and create accessible PDF at the same time. We don't know when that update will come out, but I think that will be the biggest step in the right direction.
Okay.
So a JAWS update?
No, it will be an update for from Adobe and something. I'm assuming this will be a plugin for browsers.
Ah, ok, quindi la domanda di PDF che qualcuno faceva, mi sembra Lucia, chiedeva se ci fosse della documentazione per chi crea i PDF. Ecco, esiste un libro addirittura che è stato creato da una beta tester per molti anni di JAWS che lavora a stretto contatto con Google, con Adobe, con queste ditte qui e diciamo gli dice quello che funziona e quello che non funziona. E, diciamo, far avere questa documentazione, magari anche trasporla in italiano, a chi crea questi PDF potrebbe essere già un buon inizio. Freedom non documenta queste cose, non fa documentazione per chi deve creare i PDF e neanche Adobe ha fatto molto riguardo a questo. Questo libro sarebbe un buon punto di partenza. And then we had something about the fill-in feature where you can sign the document. You know, some documents can be just filled next to the writing and signed. And many in the Italian administration, many public administrations use this method in Italy.
Yes, DocuSign.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we use that here. As a matter of fact, I've been using it on a real estate transaction recently, and I am aware that there's any accessibility in that at this point. I haven't really told anyone about it, but it's a good point. I'm assuming you guys have tested this and found that there's, it does, it kind of requires you to be able to see the context of where you're going to put your signature or your initials.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine they could easily make it that you could accept and initials in each location, but the problem would be how are you going to know what you're signing and what you're initialing? So I think there's some struggles there. I don't really have much information on.
Okay. Quindi per
It's a good question, though.
Chi faceva la domanda della firma e della compilazione dei PDF, scusa Lucia, non eri tu?
No.
Comunque non c'è alcun lavoro da parte di Adobe per quanto riguarda l'accessibilità di questa cosa ed è un problema perché appunto anche se il semplice posizionamento della firma, dove firmare, cosa, non è una cosa semplice comunque da realizzare, ma è Adobe che deve fare i primi passi. Okay, Lucia was asking about mathematics. So is there any work on mathematics being done? I think I've laid out this question already by email to you when she was asking about whether there's any work being done to recognize better mathematical formulas outside the MathML, which does require some authoring be done on the part of the authors of the web page, or so something which could automatically recognize math and in a future maybe also write it.
Because the problem, Eric, is that no many users here in Italy, maybe, I don't know, in US, of course, there aren't the possibility to study a book or to write using MathML. So the question is for the students, most of it, how they could work easily with math, complicate math, of course.
Right, and the answer is we're still not there yet. Other there's a word solution called Math Type that you can add into Word and then be in a Word document at least be able to read through equation. Still doesn't allow you to write the equation. Doesn't help if you're trying to read a book necessarily, but you can at least know that there's a math equation and get access to it like you would with math on the web. And authoring mathematics is still not a good solution yet. This is something that we have tried to reach out on numerous occasions to our federal government, the Department of Education, and point out the significance of this and the importance of getting some grant money to be able to come up with better solutions, because this has not been addressed, and we don't see we don't really see the movement from companies like Google and Microsoft to be able to try and help address these issues. And I really think we're going to need help from them. So I think there's going to have to be legislative action and government assistance to really make sure that we get through in this area.
Ok, quindi Lucia, la soluzione che per il momento c'è è un add-in che ti permette di scrivere la matematica, o se qualcuno la scrive con questo add-in, e la puoi utilizzare come se stessi usando MathML. È chiaro che per leggere un libro questa non è la soluzione. Il problema è complicato perché comunque loro hanno anche chiesto molte volte al governo federale americano di agire su questo fronte, però non sembra che al momento le aziende come Google, Microsoft e questi giganti abbiano capito quanto è importante, diciamo, che questo accesso alla matematica ci sia, e per arrivare al risultato che loro vogliono c'è bisogno di queste aziende, e soprattutto c'è bisogno di soldi che devono necessariamente arrivare da agenzie governative, perché altrimenti l'investimento che ci vorrebbe per fare una cosa del genere non ci si potrebbe stare dentro.
Sì, volevo dire a Lucia o a chi fosse interessato che ci sono alcune funzioni da un paio di versioni di JAWS legate a MathML. So che non è esattamente quello che si aspettava Lucia, però un po' avanzate, che se non le conoscete vi invito a leggere all'interno del manuale di JAWS. Sono molto interessanti perché si riesce a leggere all'interno di applicazioni che usano MathML, e ci sono alcune applicazioni gratuite attraverso le quali puoi importare delle funzioni o anche esportarle, quindi ci sono alcune applicazioni web dove che puoi usare gratuitamente su web, appunto, per scrivere anche eventualmente delle funzioni, e JAWS con questa con questo come dire, con questa nuova tecnologia che si chiama JAX, funziona abbastanza bene. È una libreria scritta in JavaScript e si può esplorare la funzione in modo molto, molto preciso. Questo io ho provato, seppur non sono uno scienziato, però insomma, ho fatto qualche esame di analisi e mi sembrava funzionasse bene. Quindi Lucia, qualche cosa si può fare, ecco, qualche cosa di più si può fare, non è esattamente che non si può fare niente, ecco, quantomeno per leggere, Eric, just a question for you. We have seen today how work Picture Smart, and it's great. But you know, we are work and we live in Italy. Do you have you know something more about the possibility to have the answer in our language?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it was one that we wrestled with when we looked at Picture Smart. The short answer is no. When we submit an image to the various cloud services, Microsoft, Google, IBM, and so forth, they have to interpret that image, and they currently only do that in the English language. And if the English language, if we then just tried to send it to a translator, it would not work out well, is my understanding. And there's some technical reasons why it wasn't really possible, but until Microsoft and until Google works out the way for a teacher to be able to submit it and put a language tag on it to say we'd like this representation of what's in the image back in that language, until they provide that back to us, we will not be able to provide a good localization. So this is really something that's going to have to come from the services. I have to believe that there is ongoing work happening with that. It may be more difficult in some languages than others, but there was a lot there was a lot of research done on this, and when we read about it, we came to the realization that this isn't something we could control. But we wanted to take advantage of what they've done. Microsoft has done it with the Seeing AI app, and so we put Picture Smart in, at least to the degree that we've got it today.
Ok, quindi mi si sente? Sì, mi si sente.
Sì.
Eric, no, Andrea chiedeva se ci fosse la possibilità di avere Pixel Smart in italiano, immagine intelligente. La risposta è al momento no, perché i motori che restituiscono la descrizione, quindi Microsoft per esempio con il suo motore di Seeing AI, al momento dà solo descrizioni in inglese. Quello che si potrebbe fare volendo è passarle a un traduttore automatico, ma il risultato sarebbe alquanto scadente. Questa è la risposta molto breve. Quello che si è fatto è stato proprio cercare di usare immagine intelligente con quello che si aveva a disposizione al momento, che è solo in inglese. Eric, did you receive our inquiries about Access, Java, and PowerPoint? These were the main questions that we had for the day. So Access supports Java application support and the status of PowerPoint. You know that other than English, it's very buggy at now, just repeating graphic over and over.
Yes, so I know that we have a bug entry on the PowerPoint, and it's very high on the priority list. I'm assuming that's done and will be addressed for the June update, but I will have to verify that. I'm not absolutely positive, but I will go and find out. Access, unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of emphasis on this from the Microsoft side or side at this point. They've really de-emphasized the accessibility on it, and frankly, it's not getting the attention of the user base that it used to as well. So I think it's getting less and less interest. So no, there's nothing currently on track for us to try and do anything further with Access at this point. And the other one was Java, and for that one, I'm really going to need some examples and some detailed questions. I think if they can submit those into you and have you get those into our system, we'll be happy to work with you and see if we can sort out what's going on.
With Java?
On the Java, yes.
Ok, quindi allora Access, Alessio, la questione è che né Microsoft né tantomeno Freedom stanno lavorando molto sull'accessibilità di Access, né dal punto di vista appunto della Microsoft né di quello della Freedom, quindi la cosa è un po' ferma attualmente, e come anche per la cosa di mail c'è molto meno interesse. C'è molto meno interesse per quanto riguarda proprio l'accessibilità di questo pacchetto. Per quanto riguarda invece Java, bisognerebbe avere esempi specifici di quello che succede, e quindi se ci mandate, diciamo, degli esempi di quello delle applicazioni specifiche di cui avete problemi, si può lavorare con Freedom affinché appunto ci si guardi. Per quanto riguarda PowerPoint, per quanto riguarda il PowerPoint, c'è un bug report attualmente in corso e si vedrà di risolverlo. Dovrebbe essere fissato o a giugno o a luglio. Comunque è molto alto come priorità il bug di PowerPoint.
Eric, we have with us some software developer, and a couple of them, and they have some problem to work with Visual Studio or Eclipse. Do you have any suggestions for them or any news?
These are JAWS using software developers?
Yes.
So I would ask that if they can share any experience or any specific questions, and certainly on Visual Studio, I can try to get some feedback for them. I don't know about Eclipse. I'm not sure if I've got anybody in-house that's doing anything with Eclipse. that could be one that we want to share with our beta group, because I know that there are some beta testers that are things with Eclipse.
Okay.
But you know, if you can get them to outline some questions, send them to you and forward them on to me. I'll try and get my answers back in English.
Ok, ok, ok. Scusami Tommy, che traduci pure.
No, allora per gli sviluppatori che usano JAWS, allora per Visual Studio sicuramente se ci sono dei problemi specifici li si può diciamo risolvere e bisognerebbe che voi deste dei casi specifici di utilizzo e noi appunto li mandiamo poi ad Eric che ci risponderà. Per quanto riguarda invece Eclipse non è sicuro che ci sia qualcuno in-house, diciamo in Freedom, che lavora con Eclipse, ma ci sono dei beta tester che lavorano con Eclipse. Io personalmente sono iscritto alla lista beta testing, per cui se volete posso passare delle richieste alla lista beta per chi usa Eclipse, per vedere se qualcuno nel gruppo beta riesce a rispondere alle domande, perché ce ne sono vari che lo utilizzano con JAWS. Quindi si tratta di individuare problemi specifici.
Volevo rispondere un'ultima cosa perché gli ho mandato una chat, ma non so se l'ha letta Lucia, per scrivere in Word insomma, funzioni matematiche complesse. Quello che suggeriva Eric è questo plugin per Word, ma che ho visto che è stato sviluppato anche poi per Google Docs. Si chiama Wiris Math Type. Wiris è la software house che l'ha prodotto e Math Type è questo plugin. Ti dico la verità, non l'ho mai provato, so che c'è la possibilità di scaricare una demo appunto per provarlo e poi c'è un pagamento, insomma mi sembra che sia ad abbonamento annuale. Sì, è uno strumento, mi sembra un tool molto, molto utile e anche molto complesso perché la materia è complessa, adesso per dirla tutta, Lucia. Any news for us for the next version, Eric, for the long future and not a new minor release, but a new major release that you could explain to us, Eric?
Yeah, we're working on a lot of things for the 2021 version. We're trying to come up with some work here that will allow convenient OCR to save directly to Microsoft Word opposed to just the results viewer. So we're trying to come up with a solution for that. We're also working on some technology that will allow people to start using a microphone, and so many of us today are using headsets and microphones because we work with Zoom and we work with Teams and Skype and so forth. And if you have a headset and a microphone, we're going to be building some technology into Zoom Text and JAWS to allow some command of features. And for instance, you'll be able to, if you don't remember what the command is to do a particular feature in the software, you don't remember the keystroke to do it or whatever it was, there'll be some natural speech that you would be able to use to basically wake up this feature in JAWS or Zoom Text and then ask it to do something for you. And it should be able to provide that. And this is being looked at and worked on to include localization. So you'll all be hearing more about that in the coming months. And you know, in general, we're constantly trying to look at how consumers are using the software. What is the sequence of events that they're going through to get tasks to happen? And we're trying to come up with ways of improving upon how we communicate that information to you. So for instance, might be if a user were to be navigating a web page and they're constantly tabbing through the web page opposed to using maybe quick navigation keys. We would detect that that's going on, and once in a while we would pop something up to try and teach you that there may be another way to accomplish something that you seem to be doing over and over again in a very complicated way. So there's a lot of technology and features coming in that I think we can be focused on, because today with UI automation, the exposure to the information is coming more and more from the operating system and the application, and we get to take that information and convey it in different ways to the user, rather than trying to just use the old techniques of screen scraping and cracking into the video chain to do things, which became very unstable, and we spent all our time trying to fix those things. So now we can really focus on usability and trying to improve upon it.
Ok.
That was a
quindi,
Yes.
ok, quindi Andrea domandava appunto se quali ci fossero le novità in serbo nella 2021, un pochino di novità. Allora, innanzitutto delle tecnologie per l'OCR. Eric, what did you say about OCR? It's going to do something.
So today, when you do a convenient OCR, it sends it to the results viewer.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, if a user wanted to put it in Word, they would have to select all with a Control A, copy to the clipboard.
We showed that today.
Yes, and so you want to be able to, when you do a convenient OCR, have it saved directly into a docx format in Word or in WordPad or whatever, and retain some of the formatting so tables won't be messed up. And so we're looking at what we can do to make that much more streamlined and make it presentable when you get it to these other formats.
Ok, quindi l'OCR, prima come abbiamo visto, per copiare in Word qualcosa che è stato, diciamo, riconosciuto con l'OCR conveniente di JAWS, bisogna comunque copiare, fare Alt, CTRL-A e poi copiare negli appunti e incollare. Quello che si sta cercando di fare è fare in modo che venga automaticamente salvato il risultato in un formato Word, in modo che anche poi la formattazione sia perfettamente mantenuta, quindi le tabelle non vengano alterate, eccetera. Poi un'altra cosa che si sta cercando di fare è quella di provare a dare agli utenti di JAWS un modo per controllare vocalmente anche JAWS. Metti che si sta usando una cuffia e non ci si ricorda un comando, oppure si sta usando Teams o queste cose qui, è possibile, invece di cercare il tasto e premerlo, dire al nostro microfono che JAWS faccia una determinata cosa. Quindi controllare in un certo senso vocalmente l'interfaccia. Un'altra cosa è fare in modo che JAWS sia una specie di tutorial interattivo. Faccio un esempio. Se si nota che una persona usa molto spesso il tab per navigare una pagina web, invece che magari usare i tasti di navigazione veloce, si sta cercando di avere la possibilità di dare dei messaggi interattivi e dire: guarda, stai usando il tab, in realtà c'è un altro modo molto più veloce di fare le cose, ti insegno questa cosa. Quindi avere una specie di tutorial che si accorge che noi stiamo facendo le cose in un modo complicato e ci dà dei messaggi di insegnamento. Questo perché si sta facendo? Perché oggi con l'avvento di UI automation le informazioni sono sempre più date dal sistema, quindi il tempo può essere investito non nell'andare a caccia delle informazioni con l'intercettatore del video e altre tecniche, diciamo, più antiche, ma si possono direttamente, lo stesso tempo si può investire nel cercare qual è il modo migliore di dare queste informazioni più che di andarle a pescare, causando crash, instabilità e altre cose. I think I've said it all.
Great.
Yes. Just one last question, Eric. Sorry, just a couple of minutes. Someone asked if you have in mind to create and update the script editor to have an advanced editor, like many editor of this type.
Debugging comes
yes.
to mind.
Which one comes to mind?
Debugging, for example, like
Yes.
have an integrated debugging feature, breakpoints or something like that. I myself struggle with this.
So that is a good question. We should take this conversation up with Glenn to find out. You guys are both visual, correct?
And Tommaso is not.
No, totally
Okay.
right.
So I know that our script developers, our internal people, do not use our script manager. They use other tools to do this.
Yeah.
And so you should, if you could send me this question in an email and let me forward it on, and I'll try and get you communicating with Dave Baker or someone on our script team that can communicate back to you and let you know what other tools might be a better solution. For somebody who writes scripts all the time, I think there are better options. Will we improve the script manager much more? We've done some work to make it much more of an editor like Notepad++ recently, but I don't know that we're going to continue to develop and try and make more improvements in it at this point.
Okay. Thank you very
But
much.
Send me the question for sure.
Of course.
Tommy? Ok. So, c'era altre cose che avevamo, non credo che ci fossero altre domande. Magari lascio giusto un minuto per qualcuno che vuole fare la domanda dell'ultimissimo e poi salutiamo il nostro ospite.
Sì, se ci sono ultime domande, se no ringraziamo e salutiamo Eric. Okay, so thank you very much, Eric. We are connected from 2 hours now, so we finish here. Today we have explained how it works, the OCR and the picture smart. And one last question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elisa have some problem working in Word to recognize automatically the language of the text. Do you have any advice about this or something?
So this is a case where the operating system and Word is Italian. The document was written in Italian, but is it a case where there's some other language?
Yes, exactly.
Text in the document.
Yes, in the same text you could find English, of course, but usually you could find French or German or anyway. So
provided you have voices that speak that language installed, and I'm assuming you can use Vocalizer Expressive to put in a French voice, Italian voice, English voice, and so forth. If the markup is in the document correctly, it should switch automatically on the fly for that Word document. If that's not working, it's work sometimes, but sometimes, and the tag is correct, it doesn't work properly. So you're saying it isn't that are you saying when it doesn't work, it doesn't work ever in this case? Or are you saying that sometimes it's working and sometimes it isn't, even if we do the same document? No, sometimes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, is it consistent? Is it consistently broken or inconsistently? Inconsistently, unfortunately. So I don't know. We should definitely get this reported in through the beta group. If you guys can help us come up with some examples, certainly speak with Dominic about one like this.
Okay.
And we will try and, this is something that absolutely should be working.
Okay.
And if it isn't, and if it's inconsistent, of course, that's the most difficult, but we'll certainly want to be looking at that.
Okay, quindi Lucia, cioè, se il documento a volte funziona, lo stesso documento e a volte non funziona, allora c'è da vedere appunto internamente che cosa sta succedendo. Eric, one very last. Talking about expressive voices, is there any possibility that in the installer for voices that has recently been included, the compact voices be back?
And you want this because you're trying to make the download smaller?
No, because I prefer, and many others prefer, the compact voices. They are less prosodic and unnecessarily so. They are more, they are like more eloquence-ish, if I can come up with this adjective.
Yes. So yeah, they're more responsive and
less like up and down, you know.
Yeah, so this is something that we should take up with the localization team as well, with Dominic.
Okay.
And ask him to include me in the conversation. I think we went to length to not be installing all the compact voices, because at one point we were installing all of these compact voices on people's computer. And while it may be true in Italian, it's not necessarily true in some other languages, and we had people using the compact voice in languages where it's not, the quality wasn't as good. So I was trying to stay away from force feeding everyone to have a compact voice on their computer.
No, but providing
but
the
I
options.
think by language we can do whichever way you'd want it.
Because now they are excluded from the install. You cannot install them even if you chose to.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're raising a point that if it's a better voice, then we need to find a way to try and go back to it, I think. But this is only true. This is only true for installation purposes that you're worried about it, right? Because once
that you cannot install them.
That you can't make them as part of the install, so you then have to teach the user how to do it.
Yeah, you would have to go to the site. To the site. You have to go to the site and download them. They're not available in the installation process.
Well, no, but and are they not available or not exposed through the? They're not exposed through the add a voice dialog either.
That's it. They are not. Just premiums.
They're not. Okay. I see. Well, it's a good question. Let's bring it up with Dominic. I haven't had this question a lot, but I do recall someone mentioning this on another language in the past, and it's something we'll have to revisit. It's not an easy change, let me put it this way.
Yeah, I remember something. Gianfranco, giudice, volevi la parola per un'ultimissima domanda, Eric? Gianfranco?
Mi senti?
Sì, perfettamente.
Ok, allora, io ho un problema nei documenti PDF da molto tempo. Io testo le documenti PDF accessibili, e lo fa un signore con PDF, con il Adobe, e con i documenti a molte colonne il focus non riesce alle volte a cambiare le colonne. Allora faccio sempre il giro dei stessi paragrafi, sono 2 o 3, e non riesco a passare avanti, perché gira sempre in questa colonna. L'unica cosa che posso fare è saltare con H.
Oh, okay. So Gianfranco is having issues with multi-column PDFs because he says that with multi-column PDFs, not always does the focus change between one column and the other. So when you down arrow, you basically are going through the same column. So when you arrow up and down, you stay where you are, and the only way to change column is to use quick nav keys, provided that they do change you to the next column.
Right, so the virtual cursor is not jumping to the column as you down arrow. But if it does when that's a good bug to submit to us, and we can put it in, and that's exactly how to describe it, that if you press the down arrow, the virtual cursor never gets to the second column. If you use navigational quick keys, it does.
Exactly, that's it.
And that would be a good bug to submit along with the document.
Ok, quindi dacci il documento e facciamo un bug report su questa cosa. Ci vuole un documento campione dove succede questa anomalia, e si può fare un bug report sicuramente.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric, for your time. We close here our meeting.
Thank you guys very much for putting this together. It was a pleasure to join you, and yeah, I know it's difficult with the language barrier. You guys did a great job. So, and I'm very pleased to see how many people in Italy are tuning into this stuff and participating with you. That's really fantastic. Those are great numbers I see.
Thank you very much, Eric. We work
okay. Thank you.
every week.
Great. Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Eric. Bye bye. Grazie a tutti quanti. Eric è stato molto veloce nell'uscire, evidentemente aveva degli altri impegni. Per Gianfranco, mandaci uno di questi PDF, così vediamo di girarli a Eric e vedere che cosa si può fare. Grazie mille a tutti per le domande. Eric mi aveva già risposto questo pomeriggio alle domande per email, quindi chiedo a tutti coloro che mi hanno mandato delle domande di rimandarmi le domande e io gli inoltro le risposte di Eric. Penso a Camillo, perché mi ricordo di lui, ma penso ad altri a cui magari non ho dato risposta adesso mentre c'era Eric, ma ho una risposta da parte sua. Ricordatemele voi le domande e io domani ci sentiamo, mi chiamate o mi scrivete e io vi giro le risposte.